Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm gonna be looking at a very solid team for the Little Cup with the best Pokemon in the meta, Bronzor, with Tackle in the lead because with Tackle it wins against Confusion Bronzor. The best save swap in the meta, Seal, and then Dino at the end. I like Dino, but you can't use whatever you want as that third spot. In that third spot, just have it be whatever counters what you see a lot the best, basically. Going right into the first game, we lead into a Wooper. And despite this being a ground type, it's actually a pretty good lead for Bronzor because Bronzor, if you don't know, is just an absolute beast in this meta. It is so bulky. Super effective Mud Bomb from a Shadow, no problem. We're just gonna take that. Go for a Side Shock right before they get to the next one. It takes 5 for the first Mud Bomb, 4 for the second, then 5-4, 5-4 all the way. Then I swap in Seal after grabbing the shield. I'm not sure this is the right play really. I could have also stayed in, but I experiment. It's the first day of Little Cup. They should go for a body slam. We don't know shield it. I like to use seal as a bit of a sponge, so just not use shields in it. Generally, Dino likes to get both of the shields in this team because you have two very bulky options. They bring in a Sandshrew and they throw in perfect timing. Right as we get to the Aqua Tail, Sandshrew definitely wins CMP here. Get to the Night Slash. Bring back in the Bronzor, despite the fact that Sandshrew can't get to a Night Slash and it's super effective. We really don't want Sandshrew on Dino. Go for a Side Shock right before they get to the next Night Slash to take it out. Now Dino has a shield advantage. It usually does quite well unless there's a Charmer or some fast move damage. It doesn't really like to take a lot of heavy fast move damage. We bring it in. Of course, we have to shield here. Dino really doesn't like charge moves either. Body Slam. And then they swap in a Bronzor. Of course, also with Tackle. Bronzor actually wins this matchup with Tackle. But because we have the energy advantage and because we land that crunch, I'm thinking it takes too long for the Bronzor to get to a Side Shock and a payback, so this is just a safe shield. They're not going to get to a payback even if they bait me. I can just Dragon Breath them down, and that is what happens. Awesome. And we Dragon Breath the Wooper down as well. And next game, we lead into a Cottony. Very good lead. This is the game where I had Heavy Slam. I forgot to TM my Bronzor for the first couple of games. For the first game, I think. They bring in a Dino. We take the Body Slam. And then bring in our own Dino. Can we calm it down? No. And I'm thinking maybe we live this Body Slam? And that was a very bad thought, because we don't, and now I've given away switch advantage. I make a few mistakes. It's the first day of Little Cup. But let's see if we can come back from this. They bring in a Vulpix with quick attack. It takes 5 for the first, 4 for the second weather ball here. And I'm definitely thinking I want to try and catch something. So I shield the first one. They go for a body slam. Body slam and weather ball have take the same amount of energy, so I'm not really sure why. Go for a Side Shock, and then I go for a wild guess and catch there, and it happens to be where they threw their weather ball. Very nice. I am just that skilled and not lucky at all. They farm up some more energy, go for another move, and I'm thinking I'm not gonna be allowed to shield anything else than this because it's a Charmer in the back. We already saw the Cottony, so I decide to shield it, and now we can just get to 2 Icy Winds. This is actually a pretty good matchup for Seal, despite Cottony being a grass type. And we get to another Icy Wind, and the Vulpix is just so low, it's not gonna be able to handle the Seal. It's not gonna be able to quick attack down the Seal. And we leg it down. Grab that win. Next game, we lead into a Seal. It's amazing if you can try to catch something on your own Seal here. I noticed they threw immediately. It takes 12 licks, so 6 seconds for Seal to get to an Aqua Tail. So I'm thinking maybe they're gonna throw again immediately. So I try to count to 6 seconds and then catch the Aqua Tail on my Seal. It's quite difficult to count in this meta because everything is just a one-turn move. There are a lot of one-turn moves. They bring in a Stunky. I realize I'm not going to be able to get to 2 moves, so I would rather get the debuff from Icy Wind. They have to shield no matter what. I could have thrown it later to debuff them later so they would get less farm, but I didn't want to risk having them get to a crunch and then I wouldn't get the shield. Bringing the Dino. I know they're gonna get to a move no matter what, but I would rather farm them down whilst taking resisted bites than super effective. I don't think Bronzor would have been able to farm it down. Definitely wouldn't. So yeah. Then they bring in a Sandshrew. Yikes. I throw the crunch. And I'm considering sniping them here, but I'm thinking it's too obvious, so I don't. And then they just go for their Night Slash instead. What I mean is, I thought that they were gonna like swap out because they would realize that I would go for the payback immediately. Yeah, didn't happen. Go for a Psyshock. Psyshock is the more energy efficient move on Bronzor, but I see that one Psyshock is not going to be enough, so I try to go for the payback, hoping I can farm down afterwards, but I can't. And they make a very good move by leaving their seal with as little health as possible here, so I get less farm on my Dino. That way my Dino is not going to be a threat to the Sandslash, because it's just not going to get to a move. So we lose that one. Next game, lead into another Wooper. This time it's non-shadow. And I am very much suffering from the fact that my Bronzor has very poor IVs. If you can make an XL Bronzor, I would definitely recommend doing it. Because these moves just do a little bit more, and they're just a little bit more threatening onto my Bronzor. So I decided to swap out into Seal again. We take the move. Body Slam is also the more energy efficient move when everything is neutral, despite Mud Bomb being stab. So that is the right move to go for. Go for an Icy Wind on their Seal as they bring it in. And they go for a move. I would have probably tried to farm down if I were them, just save all the energy. Yeah. I wait till the last second. I could have gotten 2 Aqua Tails and gotten off more damage, but by getting off this attack debuff, I leave the Seal in a spot where I can get a very comfortable farm down if they stay in, because they just don't really do a lot of damage. They could go for an Icy Wind. I would have probably gone for an Aqua Tail there. They swap out, and I catch the move on Dino, which is probably not the right play. Mud Bomb actually does less damage to a Bronzor than it does to a Dino. Again, you kind of want to spend your shields on Dino. I think I've misplayed this game a bit. Happens. Maybe they have something weak to Dino in the back, but no, they have a Nincada in the back of all things. Get to a Body Slam. Can we get to another one? No, they don't allow it. But I have quite a bit of energy on my Bronzor, so I might be able to get to 2 Psyshocks there. They get to a Night Slash, and despite this being super effective, it still doesn't really do a lot of damage. So maybe we can get 2 Psyshocks. I go for the first one. The Wooper is so low, I might be able to tackle it down afterwards. Can we get there? No, not quite. Very cool Spice Pick in the Nincada. Next game, we lead into a Dino. This is actually a good matchup for Tackle Bronzor. This is another reason to run Tackle, because look at how much damage the Tackle does. Also, it takes the exact same amount of time to get to a crunch for the Dino as it does to get to a Psyshock on Bronzor. So that's a good way to keep track of energy. They do go for the bait, and I shield it, and then they catch my payback on Xin-Zhao. Yikes. And I'm thinking I want to catch the move on Dino here. It takes 7 to get to the Thunderbolt, so I try to catch it. They still have to throw anyways, because, it's not very effective. How much damage can it really do? Yikes. Does a lot. Can we even get to a move if they bring in Dino again? We try to, but no, can't quite happen. But at this point, I think I can farm it down with Seal, and then just debuff whatever is in the back into Oblivion, because they have no way of swapping out after this. They're gonna be switch locked, or just locked in. But then it's a Litleo, so my plans change, and instead I just go for an Aqua Tail. Or I'm just gonna go for a bunch of Aqua Tails. It takes 3 for the first move for Litleo, and then 2 for the second one. So I go for the Aqua Tail right before they get to the second one. And I still have a lot of energy on my Bronzor as well, so even if they spend the energy to take me out, I should be able to get to a payback. A Psyshock does about 40% to a Litleo, so I think you should go for the payback here. I wasn't aware in the game, I just kind of tried something based on feeling, and the payback ended up being enough, and the Dino can't do anything. Next game, we lead into an Igglybuff. Very cool spice pick. You have to spend an elite charge sim on this thing to get Body Slam. Um, and they catch my Psyshock on their Bronzor. Very nice play. Save all the energy on Igglybuff. Igglybuff has Body Slam, Wild Charge, Shadow Ball. It's like a really, really cool Pokemon. It just only has Feint Attack as a fast move, which holds it back quite severely. Bring in Seal onto their Bronzor. This is a better matchup for Seal because Bronzor is running Tackle. I think Bronzor wins it with Confusion. And here I realize I have to throw energy if I want to take out the Bronzor. But they get to move at the same time as me, and I don't really want to shield it. So I'm thinking maybe I can farm it down after this, but I wasn't quite sure. So instead I swap out to save the energy, and then they just have the hardest response to Bronzor in the Little Cup, Vullaby. I don't even know how you get a Vullaby into Little Cup. Let me know if you know in the comments, because it hatches at like 800 CP. So I think you have to trade with like a low level account or something. I'm not quite sure. Very nice for them that they have it. I don't. If you do, try it out, because it's probably incredible. As I say, it's the best response to Bronzor. Bronzor's everywhere. I'm thinking I want to shield whatever Igglybuff is throwing at me, because that's probably gonna hurt more than what Vullaby is throwing at me. But the foul play still did quite a lot. The Igglybuff has a lot of energy. And here, because you saw in the beginning, I'm playing against my Assassin, one of the best players in GBL. He's been like number one several times. So I'm thinking he's gonna realize I have a move in the back. He's gonna try and catch here. That's why I'm not throwing. I'm just waiting for him to catch. But then he doesn't catch. Maybe I should have just thrown. I'm not sure. It was a very tough game after they made that incredible catch in the beginning. So next game we lead into a Barboach, and this is where my Bronzor's IVs really hurt me, because this should be a quite comfortable matchup for Bronzor, but two Mud Bombs just do so much. Like, you see I'm already at half health. Go for the Psyshock, grab the shield. I try to catch the next Mud Bomb, I think, and I managed to do so. Very nice. But that still does a lot. They bring in a Wynaut. It takes 8 counters for Wynaut to get to its only move, Mirror Coat. Go for the Icy Wind, get the attack debuff. And I'm thinking if I can just leave this Wynaut very attack debuffed and with a bit of health, I can get a very nice farm down on Bronzor. Because Wynaut just can't do anything against Bronzor, especially not when it's debuffed. As I say, the only move it has is Mirror Coat. So I want to bring it in as soon as possible, whilst the Wynaut is switch locked. So I can force it to throw some energy, but then they swap out afterwards. Get to a Mud Bomb, shield it. And then I go for a Psyshock right before they get to the next Mud Bomb. And they shield. And I really want them to throw some energy here. I think they're 2 Mudshots off their next move, so I think I can farm them down with Dino. Just come out with a bit of energy and a shield up, which should be a pretty good spot, unless there is fast move pressure in the back. It is Eevee, and look at how much damage this Dragon Breath does to Eevee. Very cool pick again, but yeah, it's very frail. Throw a Body Slam, almost takes it out. Wynaut comes in, does a lot of damage with counter, but yeah, Dino can just take out the entire team. Very nice. Next game, lead into the mirror match. Another Bronzor. They swap out immediately into a Stunky. And if you're fast enough with Dino, you can just farm down the Stunky without it even getting to a move. So yeah, that's very nice. Now we're in a very good spot. They bring back in the Bronzor, and I'm thinking because they swapped out immediately of neutral matchup, they probably have something else in the back. It probably is because they have two things that are better against Bronzor in the back. So I want to bring in my Bronzor here because I'm expecting something else good against Bronzor in the back. And I go for the shield because I thought they're never baiting here, and I wasn't aware of how little a payback actually does, despite it being super effective. And then they bring in a Wooper, which is actually not all that good against Bronzor. So I'm thinking I might just save my seal for their Bronzor and stay in here. Or I can just farm up to like almost a payback, so I can threaten the Bronzor on the back, which is what I choose to do. I leave my Bronzor with enough health and enough energy so I can get to a payback on the Bronzor, and then I swap out. I go for the Aqua Tail right before they get to the next move. They shield it, they're kind of forced to at this point, then they bring in the Bronzor. Yeah, it's just not gonna get to enough moves. Seal is just too bulky at this point. And we lick down the Bronzor before it even gets to a move. And we lick down the Wooper as well. Very nice. Next game, we lead into Pawniard. Yikes. How do you get this thing into Little Cup as well? Come on. This is a bad matchup, but Dino has an even worse matchup, so I'm thinking I might initially want to stay in, but then I decide, because they threw immediately, I decide to catch the next Night Slash on my seal, because it can tank 2 Night Slashes if Pawniard doesn't get the boost. But it does get the boost, and this is just so bad, because now I have to shield, and I have to throw my Aqua Tail quite soon, because the Pawniard is just so quick to these Night Slashes, and I can't take another one when it's boosted. They let it go, but this is still a pretty bad spot, because now they bring in Ducklet, and they can just farm me down. I'm considering throwing later, to give them, like, to debuff them later so they get less farm, but also I don't want them to be able to throw a move before me and then I don't get off my move, so I do go for the move immediately. And then I bring in my Bronzor, throw a move as well. They have so much energy. Then they bring in their own Bronzor, I bring in Dino, and they're up a shield. This is just gonna be very, very tough. I'm thinking they're very low on Ducklet, and they don't want to be very low on Bronzor as well. So they're probably gonna shield this, which is why I go for the bait. And I can't really shield this because they have so much energy on that Ducklet in the back. Payback still does so much. I can't quite get to my crunch, so I hope that they've been miscounting. And they have. So I grab the last shield. But this is where we see how little a payback actually does. I thought that it might be close to, like, enough to take it out, but it just does so little. Bronzor is just so bulky. Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. They're also gonna outpace me to another payback. Plus they have all that energy and Ducklet. Very rough game. And they take us out, unfortunately. Next game, final game, we lead into a Dino. Again, this is a pretty good lead for Bronzor with Tackle. Go for a move. Again, it takes the same amount of time to get to a crunch as it does to get to a Psyshock, so you can go up to 2 Psyshocks after they've thrown a crunch, and then go for the payback, just to optimize energy. They shield it, and go for another move, and I think they're not gonna bait. I don't really like spending both my shields and Bronzor, but yeah, I end up doing it. Then I go for the payback on their Bronzor when it comes in. The Dino is energy dry, which is a good thing to note. And now I bring in my seal. They go for a move. It's a payback. And I'm thinking I probably have, like, I'm probably not going to be able to farm it all the way down. So instead I go for 2 Aqua Tails to take it out. To come out with a bunch of health still on my seal. And again, the Dino is completely dry. It threw all of its energy. So I'm thinking maybe I can farm it down here, and I can. And then I get an Icy Wind onto their last Pokemon. So I get the attack debuff onto their Seal, which is really huge. Bring in my own Dino. Go for the Body Slam. They have to shield this. And because I got that attack debuff, this Icy Wind is not going to be threatening. Otherwise, they would have been able to farm me down after this Icy Wind, or just take me out with the Icy Wind. But instead, I get to a Body Slam, so it's very nice. So yeah, we grab a win, and that was the end. I did go 3-2 twice with this team. As you can see, I gained 1 elo the first time, and then I gained like 4 elo on this last set, bringing me up to a new high, and 3006. Very high, very slow progress. That was the last battle for today, and overall this is a pretty solid team. It didn't really do anything special for me. It did do pretty well, but I was also playing against some very high skilled opponents, as you saw by my elo. Fun fact of the day, Vulpix with more than 80 HP will get to 2 moves against Shadow's Donkey and win the 1 shield. According to PvPoke, you lose this matchup very hard. This is the quick attack Vulpix, not Shadow. But if you have 81 or more HP, you will get to 2 moves regardless of the Stunky's IVs. You will get there and win the 1 shield. It's just a very good thing to be aware of. If you feel like you learned something, or you like this type of videos, like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for me in terms of teams or Pokemon to try out, I'm very much trying to find some inspiration. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.